Hello again, everyone. It's good to be back. My name is Shane Kohler, and I'm the creator and founder of The Living Relationship. My fiance and I work together to bring you a conscious approach to dating and relationships. So if you're tired of all the normal dating advice out there, subscribe to our channel because this is not your everyday approach. Here, we're committed to conscious, loving, and committed relationships that truly fulfill you in all the ways that you hoped a lifelong partnership would. So thank you for watching. Today we're going to talk about codependency. And codependency is a word that we hear thrown around a lot. You've probably heard it many times. You've probably at some point been accused of being codependent. You may even think that you are codependent, but what does it actually mean to be codependent? Like if you feel lonely without somebody, does that make you codependent? Or if you're heartbroken when a relationship ends, does that make you codependent? Or what if you are single and you really desire and really long to have a relationship with somebody? Does that make you codependent? To some degree, I think we could all relate to experiences like that. I think we could all say that we have experienced things like that, but that doesn't necessarily make us codependent. Longing for a relationship by itself doesn't make you codependent, or being sad to lose somebody doesn't make you codependent. But what does? Codependency is something that I think we all struggle with. We all have struggled with at certain points in our life. And it's not necessarily unhealthy to have codependent tendencies, but there are certain things and certain ways that codependency becomes very unhealthy. So if you're wondering what codependency is, or if you are that, or what that means for you, go ahead and watch this video. In this, we're going to really uncover what it means to be codependent and when it becomes unhealthy. So to make it really simple, codependency is when your worth, your value, and your happiness is wrapped up in a relationship with somebody. In other words, it means that you feel like you can't have those things without that relationship or without that person. And what happens is, and we've all experienced this, what happens is we meet somebody, we're extremely attracted to them. The attraction's on both sides. It's incredibly intoxicating. I mean, when that happens, you feel alive in a way that you probably haven't felt in years. It's like the whole world lights up with color. And it's this magical feeling that comes from the experience of being in love with someone. And this is the number one misconception that people fall into that is ultimately at the source of all codependency. Is when you have that experience, that feeling of being in love, that feeling of being alive, that being in love with someone gives you. And when you have that feeling and you think that that experience is coming from that other person, and you think that you can't have that experience without that person. So this is the misconception that's at the root of all codependency. And what happens when we fall in love is we experience the best parts of ourselves. Some of us, many of us, for the first time in years, we're able to experience those parts of ourselves, and we feel more confident, and we feel more joyful and more abundant. And we go out, and it's like life is full of possibility, and life is full of color. And what happens is we start to think that the relationship is creating those experiences. We think that those experiences came from the relationship, rather than recognizing that the relationship is simply an environment in which we are allowing ourselves to experience those ways, those feelings, those ways of being. The relationship is simply an environment in which we feel safe enough to open up and explore those ways of feeling, those ways of thinking, those ways of being. And the moment you start to think that those feelings and those experiences are coming from this person and from this relationship, the moment you start to think that you can't have those on your own, that's the moment that you experience codependency, and that's the moment that fear sets in. And once the fear sets in, you start to think like, is it really as safe as I thought it was? And You start to think, well, what happens when he or she stops loving me? What happens when he or she stops giving me the attention? What happens if he or she ends up being interested in somebody else, or our relationship doesn't work out? And the fear starts to creep in. And the moment that fear gets involved, the relationship is no longer free anymore. And if you know that experience, that first moment of fear in a new relationship, I want you to drop an "I get it" in the comments below. Where before that had happened, love was something that you could give and receive freely in the relationship. And as soon as that moment of fear creeps in, love and the giving and receiving of it starts to shift in the relationship. And rather than it just being something that is given freely and openly, it starts to be used like a currency, like you use it to buy and sell. You give it in order to get something, or you wait until you get something and then you give it. Once you start to use love that way in a relationship, that's where all types of relationship dysfunction start to come in. That's where jealousy and low self-esteem and bitterness and resentment, that's where all of it starts to come in. Is the moment love shifts from being given freely to being used like a currency. You can't be in a relationship with somebody thinking that you need something from that relationship, thinking that you need to get something from that relationship, and not have the relationship become toxic and not have the relationship become manipulative. Because a relationship is only free when you're there to give. Like, I love you, you love me too, awesome. So here we are in love, and we're just gonna give to each other. We're just gonna give to each other openly, freely, with no expectation. And as long as you can give openly and freely in that way and continue to do so, it is highly likely that you will keep continuing to do so, and that both partners will keep continuing to want to love and to give in that way, because the love is being given freely and both partners feel free in the relationship and both partners feel supported. To have a healthy relationship, you have to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are enough, you are worthy, you are good. If that person were to walk away today, you would be okay. You would be just fine. That's the only way that you can truly love someone in an open and free way, is that you know that if they chose to leave today, you would still be okay. You would still be just fine. And because of that, because you don't need that person in that way, you can give love to them freely. You don't have to try to get anything out of them. You don't have to try to manipulate anything out of them, because you get how complete you are already. You get how okay you are already. And you still get to have all the love and all the feelings and all the intimacy and all the connection. In fact, you free yourself up for more of that. You free yourself up for more of that because there's nothing to guard. There's nothing to protect. There's nothing to defend. You're open, you're free, your heart is open, and you're able to love and give freely. But if you're experiencing a strong codependency, if you're struggling with that, I think the first thing you need to do is just simply recognize that that's not what you want. That you don't want a relationship where you feel like you have to try to manipulate somebody. You don't want a relationship where you feel like you have to try to control somebody, where you feel like you have to get something from them. That's the first thing, is to realize that that's not really what you want. That's not really the kind of relationship that you want to have. And once you realize that, once you recognize that and open that door, then it becomes very simple. It's like there's some work to do on it. And there's a lot of ways that you can work on it. I'm gonna leave a link below where you can actually, you can go to our website and there's a form right there on the page. You can submit a request to work with us around this. But whether you choose to work with us or not, I'm gonna, at the same link, if you go to the website, we have an archive of relationship resources that can help you with codependency, with being in a toxic relationship. I mean, with literally almost any relationship challenge, we have an archive of resources available to you. And what I want you to do is click that link below. I'm going to put it in the description. Go to the website, and all you have to do is put in your name and email, and you'll be automatically added to the membership of people who get to receive these resources on a weekly basis. So definitely go sign up for that. Again, thank you for watching. If you know somebody who could benefit from this video, please share it with them. I'm sure they'd appreciate that. Also, please like the video and leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. If there's something that you're unclear about, some way that I can further support you, or that we here at The Living Relationship can further support you, please leave it in a comment below, and I'll be absolutely happy to do whatever I can. Like this video. If there's somebody you could share it with, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if conscious relationship content is something that resonates for you and something that you think like that's the kind of relationship content I need to receive. Then subscribe to this channel, because we're coming out with new videos consistently and we have a lot of great content available for you. So thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day, incredible week, incredible weekend whenever you're watching this. Take care of yourselves, take care of the people you love, and we'll see you back here real soon.